Hey, what's going on? Luke here. What a 24 hours it's been for a Rugby League 26 fan. And I say that as a Rugby League 26 fan because I'm getting quite a lot of comments on Twitter and YouTube and stuff about how, like, I just don't want the game to succeed. Just little digs like that. But I feel like it's the total opposite. Like, I 100% want this game to succeed. My whole channel has been based around the game since Rugby League Live 2. In fact, I actually did it on Rugby League Live 1. Like, clearly I love the game. I want the game to be a success. The only thing is, I've called out things that just aren't really good. And I feel like the promotion and the handling of the release of the game has been absolutely abysmal. And I feel like everybody knows that. It's just some don't want that to be the case. Like, they really want it to be good, and they're just hoping and praying that it's going to be good. But everything we've seen, it doesn't look great so far. However, that's not exactly the point of this video. What I'm going to be doing is addressing the gameplay leaks. And I just want to preface it at the start by just saying that, yes, a lot of people are going to be commenting on the game and giving their thoughts and opinions on this little leaked footage, and clearly it is a very underdone version of the game. I just started off the video because it's like, if you have any sort of criticism towards the game, it's like immediately you're just a hater, and it's like, I'm not a hater, I want this game to be great, but also I've got to call a spade. It's just how it is. It's how the real world works. Now, I'm titling this the pros and cons and should we be worried, and yeah, I do think we should be a little worried about the game, but I'm here to sort of give some reasons, and it's going to be purely based on the gameplay. And like I said, it is a super underdone version, so I'll give a little bit of slack there. That is a super underdone version. However, what we are seeing, and what Ross has confirmed, and if you wonder who Ross is, it's the big ant CEO. He's like literally like one of the makers of the game. He's come out and said that, yeah, this pretty much is going to be Rugby League Live 4, but just like a better version. And I would highly recommend to go and check out Insane's video. He actually did quite a good little breakdown of it, and I thought he was actually very neutral on it. Like, he wasn't super for it, super against it, and that's how I feel like I am. Like, this is someone who played Rugby League Live 4 from the start all the way to the finish, but also I know that there's so many flaws in Rugby League Live 4, and I think everybody knows that there's so many flaws in Rugby League Live 4, and it's been called out for so long that there's been so many problems in terms of the passing and just so many different animations. And as we've seen with, like, players barging their way over the line, you have a guy running through three players scoring tries on your own try line. That sort of stuff, it happens quite regularly. Do a 40-20 kick and they run over the sideline. A lot of those things are things that we have major problems with, and then all of a sudden the new game comes out that we've been waiting for 8 years, and you can say whatever you want about patches and all that sort of stuff, and I'm sure there is going to be some day one patches that fix a lot of the issues, probably. Like, most likely, there probably is going to be some fixes, but we've seen in the history of Big Ant, between Rugby 25, AFL 23, AFL 26, all the cricket games, all the tennis games, they don't have a great reputation for the game being good when the game first releases. And that's what I think the NRL fans are missing, or just Rugby League fans are missing out on. And like I said, they really, really want this game to be good. But I'm showing the gameplay as I'm talking here, and like, it looks exactly the same as Rugby League Live 4. And again, like I said, Insane said it too, is that, yeah, I think that it is going to be much improved, and we're going to see a lot of changes here and there. But you can't deny that it looks exactly like a copy and paste of Rugby League Live 4. It's identical. There's a reason that I uploaded the stream. It was a young kid who did it, and I re-uploaded it, re-streamed it. And everyone is like, surely this is just you playing a modded game. And I'm like, no, it's not a modded game. This is legitimately the game. This is what Ross has confirmed is the actual game that's on the disc that's being shipped out. People are just getting it early, same way as they've done in Rugby League Live, Rugby League Live 2, Rugby League Live 3, Rugby League Live 4. Probably back in the day, you could probably get the game early as well. And I think a big part of the problem and why there's been so much outrage is the fact that they've shown us basically nothing. Now, if you take a look at the trailer, which we got a week out from the game, right? But if you notice all the animations that they're using, apart from, I think, maybe the swan dive, where it's one of the girls running away. I know for the Super League and the NRL version, it was a different player, but I just remember they were doing a big swan dive under the post. But, like, apart from that, that was the only new thing that we had seen. Everything else was the exact same animations we had seen in Rugby League Live 4. And then now we've seen, like, a leaked gameplay, which is the actual gameplay that's on the disc. Clearly, again, I just want to say, we will see updates, we will see improvements, but from what we've seen, everything kind of backs up the fact that this is just a Rugby League Live 4 reskin. And if that's not the case, that's not our fault. We're only seeing what we're seeing, because we've seen sweet F all from Big Ant, from Ross, from any of the trailers, whatever. We haven't seen any little leaks or anything like that in terms of them uploading gameplay. It's really just been little random things. Like, we've seen a playtest notes, and then the actual playtest notes kind of back up a lot of the things that we've seen in the actual gameplay, that it is very Rugby League Live 4 based. And that's what I mean, where if you enjoyed Rugby League Live 4 and you don't mind that, which I don't, I think I'm going to have a great time on Rugby League 26. But you got to understand why people are kind of outraged here. They've been openly talking about the fact that they have the biggest budget that they've had ever in a rugby league game, and then the game that we do get is kind of like not much new. Now, granted, like a lot of the career mode, all that aspect, pro team, it's going to be amazing. Like I've always said, if it's Rugby League Live 4 reskinned, I'm not mad. And like that's legitimately the case. I'm not mad. You just got to understand why a lot of people would be. And it doesn't help that the CEO of the company is very vague with things that he says, and he comes out and he kind of goes at fans a lot of the times. And it doesn't help too that you get the other end of the stick too, where you have fans who are kind of like his little fanboys, who it's like they take the criticism of the game personally. Like I don't understand it. It really doesn't make sense to me. I can think that the game looks kind of meh without absolutely hating the game, absolutely hating Ross, all this sort of stuff. I'm not a hater. I'm just pointing out the fact that it doesn't look too good. And in terms of the graphics, I thought the graphics were actually quite good. Everyone that had player scans, I thought they looked identical to what they do in real life. I thought it was really good. Yeah, adding that, I think they had some pretty good music choices. I was listening to some of the music in terms of the menus. The menus themselves actually look nice and clean, very reminiscent to the AFL game. And I will just point out that if you're worried about player ratings, that like they genuinely are placeholders, but I know firsthand that they are still asking about player ratings for at least the Super League very late on. So who knows? Who knows what's going to end up happening? But the player ratings definitely are not set in stone. And what you're seeing with Mitchell Moses as an 82 and Nathan Cleary's, not the best player in the game, but he's on the cover and all that sort of stuff. Like, I feel like that stuff will be rectified, but it is a little alarming that, we're a week out and I'm getting information that they're still looking at player ratings. Like, it seems like something they should have kind of had, I'm not going to say locked in, but they should have a pretty fair idea. And clearly, like when Dylan Brown's like a 92 and you have Mitchell Moses as an 82, they clearly don't have things set in stone, and it's definitely like, on the go. But another positive is the stadiums. I thought the stadium looked really good. We got to see Allegiant Stadium, which is the Las Vegas one, which has never been in any of the previous ones. I thought it looked great. In terms of the commentary, we've heard it in the trailer. There was none in the little leak footage. It kind of shows you how early of a build it probably was. But overall, there is definitely some parts of the game that I do really like. But that's like the short list of pros that we've seen so far. Is like usually it's just like the menus, and kind of we know that there's going to be some new game modes, and I think that will be huge for the game. And like I said, Rugby League Live 4 with some new game modes, I don't necessarily mind that, but it's the fact that they're coming out and they're not being honest about it. If they've been honest from the start and said, yeah, it's kind of going to be similar to Rugby League Live 4, I think we would have been able to handle it. But it's the fact that they've been so secretive, and I think they're secretive for a reason, and we're seeing the backlash right now, right? It makes sense why they're being secretive, because I think they thought this might happen. But obviously I'm going to go into the cons too, and the cons are the fact that it is identical. It is identical to Rugby League Live 4, and you add in a couple animations here and there and a couple cut scenes. But like a lot of the time, everyone's talking about the fact, what's like the number one thing that you hear? Oh, graphics are cool and all, but I just hope the gameplay is good. And it's like, well, they're taking the exact same gameplay, but just doing a graphics upgrade. If this was FIFA, this is NBA, this is like the biggest criticism year in, year out. WWE is another one. Like, oh, it's just the same game, but you're adding like a little bit better graphics. But the gameplay isn't good, and that's the most important thing. And that's literally the whole time I've had this speculation of the game coming out, to it being confirmed, to seeing trailers, to seeing player models. I've done plenty of videos going over, the player models getting posted on Instagram, and, the teams posting all that sort of stuff. And everyone's like, that's cool and all, just as long as the game's good. And then now all of a sudden the game doesn't look good, and everyone's like, well, the graphics look pretty good. So in that aspect, it's kind of like make up your mind. Now, I did say it is identical to Rugby League Live 4, and I'm talking in terms of kicking animations, tackling animations, in terms of the big hits, the steps, even just like running lines, even if visually like your camera angles, like if you play the camera angles, all the Rugby League Live 4 ones, it's exactly the same. Even in goal kicking, it's the exact same goal kicking one. Even some of the the animations in terms of kicking a goal, like they're all the exact same. And clearly they're going to add in new ones. And there was a few little things here and there when they scored a try where I guess they went into like a different try celebration. But they're all like just super minor things. It's funny that like I said, everyone's talking about, oh, I hope the gameplay is good. And then when the gameplay isn't good, it's, oh, well, check out the cutscenes. It's just like the constant goalpost moving. It's just, I can't keep up with it. And also, like, I'm recording this after last night, having a little run-in with Ross, and then him later on coming out and saying that, yeah, like, we aren't really going to be getting any more animations. It's basically going to be Rugby League Live 4 animations. And that was my whole point of it, was the fact that in the trailer, we saw Rugby League Live 4 animations. in this leaked gameplay, we're seeing Rugby League Live 4 animations, and even worse, we're pretty much seeing the exact same camera angles. We're just seeing a modded Rugby League Live 4 is what we're seeing in terms of actual gameplay. There's just no new mechanics, and if anyone thinks that they're just going to do some mad update on game 1 and the game's going to be totally different, like, you don't understand. Like, it's just not going to be the case. Like, there's definitely going to be different things from the leaked footage that we've seen now to the game we're going to be playing on Thursday, and I think we're going to have a great experience on Thursday, don't get me wrong, but if you think that we're going to get some drastically different game, it's just not the case. They're basing it on Rugby League Live 4. Like, that's kind of what it is. It's like if someone legitimately just went and made some really good mods on Rugby League Live 4, that's what I think we're going to get. Like, I went through and I looked at Rugby 25 animations, and I saw that a lot of them were recycled from Rugby League Live 4. So it shows clearly that they are reusing a lot of animations, but there were a few good things that we saw with Rugby 25 where, say like the speed, for example, seemed to be nerfed, and we actually saw fast players looking fast. It wasn't just props running down the hammer. Like, that happens all the time on Rugby League Live 4. Like, some of the speeds are weird, and the overalls, like, if you have if 80 rated, it's not too different to an 85 rated. Little things like that. So hopefully they're things that they can fix up, but like, spade's a spade. Like, it doesn't look promising. But again, this is a leaked version, and I've seen people being like, oh, I'm annoyed that the leaked version came out. But again, this has happened every single year. They should have prepared for it, and Ross has even now come out after the fact and said, yeah, no, we should have prepared for it. So it's like, again, this is a company that releases game year after year. They AFL, tennis, cricket, they've even done like lacrosse games, things like that, rugby, obviously. They release games quite regularly. This isn't just them making their first ever game. The fact that, like, it didn't even cross their mind that this could possibly happen. And this wouldn't be an issue if they actually showed some half-decent gameplay. That's all they had to do. Just show something. Instead, we got a trailer a week out which had a lot of the same problems as what I'm talking about here, where if you had just looked at it and said, yep, it's Rugby League Live 4, you'd be like, oh, well, graphics are a bit better, but like, yeah, I can believe that. And that's why a lot of people were like, I can't believe this is the actual gameplay. Like, surely this is a modern version. Surely this trailer isn't actually legit. Someone released some like weird AI version of it, and people believe that that was the actual game. At the end of the day, we're all excited for it. We all want the best for the game. And I feel like, to some degree, we're all in the same boat here. Like, we want a really good game. We want to have fun. It's just, I can't, it baffles me where it's like, we can't comment on what we're seeing because it's like, we don't want to annoy the makers of the game in case they don't make another one. It's like, this is exactly what happened in Rugby League Live 4. Like, if it's a moneymaker, they're going to make a new game. Like, that's just how it works. I don't think us making a few comments on social media is gonna change their mind on whether they make Rugby League 27 or 28. Like, that's just not going to happen. If the game's a profit, if the game does well, you know, it's going to work well. But I do think there is a reason they haven't shown gameplay, and it's probably for the same reason that the response has been. There's been a lot of people saying, well, I was going to pre-order it and I'm not going to now, or I've cancelled my pre-order, and I think that's what they're scared of, because I don't think the game will be that much different. Anyways, I'm just rambling now, but they're the pros, the cons. Should we be worried? We should be a little worried, yeah, but are we still going to buy the game? Absolutely. At least I am. I'm personally going to be buying the game, going to be streaming, going to be making videos. I said a lot of the same things about Rugby League Live 4, and I stand by that, and a lot of people who, at the time when Rugby League Live 4 came out, were like, no, this game's great. Now we'll say that the game wasn't great on release. I guess it's kind of like rose-tinted glasses, like you look back fondly on things. But Rugby League Live 4 was not well received, and I believe it was like the most returned game in Australia of that year. So there's a reason for this sort of stuff, and a lot of the outrage is the fact that it's Big Ann. It's not the fact of the game, it's the fact that Big Ann has a history doing this sort of stuff. So that's just my 2 cents on it, and hopefully you did enjoy this one. I'm going to end things here. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. Again, sounds weird, but I'm your home of Rugby League 26. I don't hate the game. Don't think I hate the game. Like, it's just, it is what it is. I'm just calling it for what it is. The game doesn't look great, the leaked parts. But anyways, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See yous. Well, that's the end of this video. If you happen to enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. You know the drill at this point. Everybody YouTuber says it. Just go ahead and do it. It'd really help me out. Also, why not go ahead and check out some of these other videos that are on the screen right now.